So it wasn't really that easy. I had all of the imposter syndrome things happening, but anyway, did it, got delved into it, and what we ended up doing was, because the whole thing was like, how do we create human connection almost at scale online? And the best way that we found to do that was through what I call now the live conversion method. It's actually about showing up live to your audience, giving them value and a story and value, and then making an offer. And so that's what we did. That's what we implemented. And they, in their first week online, they did over $23,000 in sales. And so we're like, okay, this seems like we could be onto something. So we actually reached out to other brands and boutiques who we had been speaking to when we were testing the fashion technology idea, because we needed both customers and we needed like brands to get on board. And so we were actually speaking to some brands and boutiques at that stage. And, time and time again, the one thing that they were always, when we were like, what is your biggest problem, or what is the one pain point that you would want help solving for? And it was always customer acquisition. Always making more sales. Like that was always a thing. So we were like, hey, we're trying this new thing. We went back to them. We're like, we're trying this new thing. Do you want to give it a go? For sure.
Well, what I wanted to know was what exactly, there's a lot of people that will identify with the picture of the female entrepreneur that is building this business and then having expectations. And then, okay, now there's no customers. They're not coming here. What do I have to do? And then that's your, you can solve that problem. And you mentioned that, going live. What was the rest of the process to help these
formula?
people?
Yeah. So let me, define the formula. So it's like T plus C plus L all to the power of M. That's kind of my formula. So let me sort of break that down. Okay. So to the power of M is really, M stands for messaging. And I think we all know by now, anyone who's in business knows that messaging is one of the most important things that you need to have clarity on, because, that's essentially how you're selling to your customer, to your potential customer, right, is all through messaging. If you can't work out a way to communicate the thing that you're trying to sell, then there's no way that they can actually receive that and therefore be compelled to buy. So we spend a lot of time on messaging, and we have a framework around how to actually test for what messaging lands called Messagelytics. And that's a quick way almost to use sprint testing to actually test your different messages and work out for now what is, the primary one that you could be leading with. And this also comes back to tribe building in a way. I'm a big believer that you want to be using your social media to build a tribe, not to just, because building a tribe is what will lead to building a brand. Whereas I think most people think they need to build a brand and then therefore the tribe will come. Now so I have a little bit of a flipped way of thinking about it. Now, the reason why I think about it that way is because, people don't really follow brands unless you're a big brand. They follow the personality and they follow a common purpose. And so that common purpose that we talk about comes to messaging as well. Now, what I mean by common purpose is what is something that you can get your tribe to rally around that is bigger than you, it's bigger than your product, it's even bigger than them. Yeah, so that's M, that's the messaging part. And then we go into the T plus C plus L. So T stands for traffic because you need to go find your traffic. And this is the part that is always, I would say, one of the hardest things is to find your traffic. This is, what everyone struggles with. So what I've kind of done is I've distilled it based on my past experiences into what I call the traffic pyramid. So there are 4 tiers to the traffic pyramid, and you kind of do want to go up it in a pretty sequential order. And we find that a lot of our clients and other people who run businesses do. So you start at the bottom, and this is your foundational tier, which is what I call passive organic marketing. And this is pretty much having a presence and building your credibility on social media platforms. Now, the reason why I call it passive is because in a way that a lot of things that we're doing by posting, by just putting content out there is passive in nature, right? Like, yeah, it takes effort, but you're kind of just hoping that people stumble across it. You're kind of hoping that people might search the right hashtags and that you rank in those hashtags or keywords or whatever it is. So it's a little bit passive from that perspective. And then we ascend up into leveraging other people's audiences. And this is, the old age, collaborations. And now in e-commerce, obviously, influencer marketing is a big part of it. But I also definitely encourage my clients to think about what a group of people that I call list builders. So they might not have, a big following on social media, but by virtue of the fact that they're hustling either as a business or they're a blogger or they're some kind of expert in, that can talk to that common purpose that you've identified in your messaging, then you can actually, again, leverage, collaborate with them, work with them in a way where they can directly contact their list on your behalf.